Butcher? What happened?
My wife. She's alive. Vault's holding the captive somewhere. And right now, we're in a little bit of trouble.
What? You're staring out the window in your little fantasy land. Kamala, hey! Already? Really? Come on, like...
Do I have to figure out my whole future before lunch, or is there like...
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome back to another Organized Chaos podcast. My name is Bobby Quarters. With me this week is Bob and George as well. Guys, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to the good old-fashioned three-way action. We don't get the three ways that often, so...
Yeah.
Wait, what are we talking about?
No.
Wait, what are we talking...
These are about movies, right?
What?
Films of the sort.
Yeah, of course. What else would it be about? What else?
They're art house films.
Yes.
They're low budget things that if you're watching this, you probably haven't seen because they're just so obscure.
Yes, so we have some very obscure topics we're talking about. First, we're going to be talking about a little series. You may have heard of it. It's called Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's part of that indie franchise that's been going on called Star Wars. You may have heard of it. There are some toxic fans in it. Yeah. You may have heard of this. It's very obscure, though. It's very...
There are some toxicity within, yes.
Like, literally,
decades
Star Wars does anything toxicity.
Yes.
At all.
Decades of toxic fandom. Woohoo.
Yay. And then after that, we're going to talk about the first 4 episodes of Season 2 of The Boys, which will be that is definitely the tonal wild card in the 3 things we're talking about here, because that is so much darker than everything else. Not that Obi-Wan doesn't get dark, but compared to The Boys, Jesus Christ, it's fluff.
It does its fair share of tonal.
Yeah. And then we will be concluding it with some more tonal distance with Miss Marvel, which
yes, we're covering almost every end.
Yes. And then after that, we'll be doing Debbie Does Dallas, and then we'll be doing some Tom and Jerry cartoons.
That's true.
A little something for everybody. Good family values and entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, no, and then we're following all of that up with the combination classic of Debbie and Tom and Jerry Do Dallas.
Yes, the crossover everybody wanted, and we finally have it.
The
right?
crossover, and we have it now. Thank you, Canon Films. Thank you.
Canon, always reliable to come up with something.
Always reliable.
It's a Canon Films produced by Roger Corman.
I know most certain I have a VHS release.
Oh, yes, exclusively.
Yeah, only on VHS.
Well, only on VHS, but with a limited run on Laserdisc.
Yes.
Limited run, though.
Oh, my God.
We managed to score 50 of them.
At a discounted price.
Well, before we get to Debbie Does Tom and Jerry, are we ready for Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yes,
yeah, sure.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, let's get into that.
The first 3 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi, or the last 3. But George, you weren't here.
The last 3.
You weren't here for the first 3, so do you want to give your kind of quick thoughts on the first 3?
Yeah. So first 3 episodes, I really, really liked that they kind of shifted it towards more of a Leia story. And I might add that the actress that played Leia did a fantastic job. Because they kind of started it out making, based off the trailers, that you're going to be getting a story about Luke.
Yeah.
So, initial thoughts, of course, it's awesome that they brought back, all of the actors.
I was surprised they got Joel Edgerton back. It wasn't, they had him do a little bit, but, he's a much bigger name than when he did the prequels. But, yeah, they brought him back.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Well, I think Jimmy Smits and Ewan McGregor were pretty well established before the prequels.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, Ewan
Jimmy
Ewan
Smits
definitely.
especially.
I think Ewan definitely got bigger, but he was already a rising star for the prequels. Jimmy Smits was established.
Well, yeah, Jimmy Smits, he was in that blockbuster Tommy Knockers.
Yes,
the immortal, ization of the Stephen King classic.
Of course.
It's been so long. He was,
But no,
yeah, it's been a while.
Jimmy Smits, he was on some cop show, I remember in the early
NYPD Blue.
90s. Yeah, that one.
Yes, I'm pretty
It was
sure.
either that or Law and Order.
And then he was on Dexter. Was that after Star Wars or in between some
That
of
was
the Star
after
Wars
Star
movies?
Wars. I'm pretty sure.
After
Okay.
Star Wars.
Okay.
It was a forgettable season.
Yes, not the worst season, but
Eh.
not.
No,
great.
Not-
No,
but
no,
definitely not the best.
Yeah.
Season 2
No.
was probably the peak of that show.
2 and 4 are so
Yeah.
goddamn good. 2.
Oh, yeah.
And I think 1's
Yeah.
underrated. 1 is fantastic. But yeah.
Well, after 1, we lost that snark that he had. It was just kind of there the rest of the series, but he was kind of like a dick in those first few episodes, and I loved it.
But he's done. Jimmy Smits has done more than a forgettable season of Dexter. He did some Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did several Star Wars prequels.
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, he was Ben Organa. Yeah,
And it was.
sorry, go ahead, George.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I think the first appearance in Star Wars was Attack of the Clones, and
Was he in Attack
Yeah,
of
I
the
remember-
Clones? Or was he just in
Yes.
Revenge? Okay, I didn't remember.
he was in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, he was.
All right.
So, I've been Bob. I've always been a big Star Wars nerd, and I said,
What?
"Oh, Bail Organa's in the new Star Wars movie."
I've known you for 2 years. How is this the first time heard of this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like one of those nerds. Like back, even before the prequels came out, like. Friends and I talked about Star Wars growing up, so we were familiar with who Bail Organa was, and the lava duel, and all of these other little minor things. But it was really cool, actually. Oh, it's Bail Organa. He's finally in the movie.
Yeah.
But he had a very, very minor role. Then he had a much larger role in
You're right.
Revenge of
Yeah.
the Sith.
He had a much bigger role in Revenge
Yeah.
of the Sith. That's right. Yeah, he was in. I can remember him in Attack of the Clones very briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost kind of blink and you miss it.
Yeah, it's almost like cameo, but yeah.
He's Padme's advisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
So, no, I just, first 3 episodes just made me realize how well George Lucas did for casting these actors. Because
Yeah.
when Owen and Obi-Wan were having that first initial exchange, both Joel and Ewan did a great job of like their transitional roles between where we saw them in the prequels and then where we see them in A New Hope.
mhm.
Like, Joel totally sold me as Uncle Owen in that scene.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell his voice is getting raspier, and then they have the exchange about, Luke's father. I was like, oh, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good scene.
Yeah.
But no, I liked kind of like the adventure of going off to find Leia. And interesting that, both the kids, who knew who Obi-Wan was by the time you got to episode 4, which makes sense because they both seemed somewhat already acquainted with him.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's well, we'll get to it, but yeah, they kind of do. I think what they do with Leia and Obi-Wan's relationship was actually quite good. I like that this story's about Leia because I feel like if they do any future seasons, which is an if, like there'll be plenty of time to do stuff with him and Luke. There's the whole wide world is open for him and Luke to do stuff. Him and Leia you can't do a huge amount with, so good to get it started.
No.
Or he could have like an adventure with the two of them as kids.
Yeah.
Like they both simultaneously get kidnapped.
Oh, jeez.
And then it could be like an escape from Witch Mountain sort of thing.
There you go. We'll have The Rock.
Yeah, I don't think that they would have the kids together in the same.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, because they're not really aware of each other.
You guys are definitely not siblings, by the way.
But they're just they're just two kids. They're not going to tell them that they're siblings. Obviously, they'll just be together. Just like, oh, yep, you're a kid who just lives on Tatooine. Yep, and she lives there.
Hey, we live far off, but both of us, and we were both born the exact same time. Are we related? No,
No.
We're not, definitely not.
No,
not at all.
What are you talking about?
I guess the only other thing I'll have to add is I kind of liked how he felt defeated. For a little bit, and then he regained his strength as the series went on, and and a lot of people complain that he's a wimp, and it's like there's different ways of being defeated. It doesn't have to be like a physical defeated, like he's at a point where he's emotionally drained and he's trying to figure out what the hell he needs to do to regain his thoughts, regain what needs to happen with the kids, and then he finally finds his strength as we go through the series. But you just can't have them.
I was just going to say, those complaints they drive me up the wall, because just looking at where he'd be in between the prequels and A New Hope, him being a bit defeated at this point makes absolute sense for the character. Just narratively, that's the most logical spot to put him. It just makes sense to me.
And I also like, I've only seen the show once. 20 years ago, I would have seen this like 4 times over by now. But I also liked what they did with the choreography. So, like, the fighting style is somewhere in between what we saw in the prequels and then moving more towards what we see, in the original movies. Now, of course, they're going to be uncoordinated because they haven't really fought, in a decade. So, and then they won't fight again for another decade. So, that was interesting. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts. And then,
all right, I think we're ready to just go into the last 3 episodes, because these episodes for me were kind of where Obi-Wan, like, it felt like he was getting his mojo back. Like, immediately episode 4, after he loses Leia, he's like practicing the Force and doing all types of stuff. What were you guys' thoughts on episode 4?
Definitely, like you said, him getting his mojo back. Like, it was like him getting into the pattern of, or I guess like the habit of things. His like old practice, or like you saw him using the Force and trying to get it back. I think like he was still like had some work to do with it, and we see that progress in the later episode. But this one was a really cool, just a great episode, and it helped push the story along. I mean, not that it needed to, but like this one also had a lot of other great things. George, you had brought up the actress that they cast to play the young Leia, and they're like there's not a moment that I was watching this entire series that I was like, I could totally see that kid growing up to be like, Princess Leia, as we all know her as Carrie Fisher. Like, I'm convinced.
She sold the role. There wasn't enough of Luke.
Convinced.
There wasn't enough of Luke to really sell me on being a young Mark Hamill, but the actress who played Leia totally sold it.
Well, Luke didn't get much of a chance, but Leia, like, she had the opportunity to prove it, and she proved it extremely well. I believe that's a young Leia.
Also appreciated that we got to see more of Alderaan.
Oh God, yeah.
I did too.
Is this the most we've seen of Alderaan in the entire franchise?
I think on film. I believe we might have seen it in one of the animated series, maybe.
Just a very little bit at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, and a tiny bit at the
But yeah, like as far as planets go, like Naboo used to be one of my favorite planets, but Alderaan is sneaking up there slowly as being one of the coolest planets. Yeah.
Well, here's
your
Naboo.
Yavin is one of my favorites.
Well, yeah, Naboo is still around. That we know of.
That's true. We don't know.
That we know
of.
I mean,
oh wait, no, it is. Because they
The Gungans could have taken over, and that whole palace is now underwater.
they added that little bit of Naboo in the special edition.
They
at
did.
the
Yeah, they
end of
did.
Jedi.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's still around. Yeah.
I'm happy they didn't do one underwater of Gungan City and them looking up at the fireworks, through the water.
So it brings up the big question: when will we see Jar Jar return?
As long as he's a Sith Lord, it's the only thing I
Oh,
want.
Obi-Wan season 2.
Well,
It's already pre-written.
I suppose it's not really a negative thing, but now that Disney owns the franchise, I mean, we will continue to see more films, more TV series, more kind of spin-off things, and well into the foreseeable future.
Oh, yeah.
So, it would not surprise me if we'll have more tie-ins in between movies, or we'll see a return of characters we haven't seen in a long time, or,
Oh, yeah.
And
it also gives Disney the opportunity, though I don't hold much stock that they would do this, but that it would maybe them dive into other properties that originally they might have not thought that they were going to do at first. Stuff that they had originally said, oh, well, this doesn't count as our canon anymore, like some of the expanded novels or graphic novels even.
I'm fairly confident.
Like and this is just more me holding my breath that they're going to do Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah, it might be one of those things where they turn it, having the original actors in it might be tricky unless we get to a point where CGI gets so advanced that it's believable.
Well, I think they only did Shadows as a comic.
Yeah, Shadows was
and
weird.
A few novels, and a few novels.
So they
maybe
had
one or two. Yeah,
they had a book, they had a comic,
they had a video
they
game.
had and there was a soundtrack to it too. They put out an orchestral soundtrack to it. And then a whole toy line.
Yeah, and then a whole toy line as well. Yes,
because I remember.
Well, the toys were to sell the game,
and it's hard. It's hard finding fans to talk to about what we call the dark age of Star Wars, which was 85 to 95. Because 85 we got the droids and the Ewoks kind of stuff, and then there was nothing for 10 years until. They started bringing back the toy line again. Yeah. And that's kind of where Shadows of the Empire took place. Was 96. Yeah, and then, of course, 97, we got the special editions and the prequels, and then there really hasn't ever been a gap in Star Wars. But that 10-year gap, was, a lot of people don't remember it.
Well, I mean, you could say there's a gap between the prequels and the sequel trilogy, but even then we had, the Clone Wars series in there. It wasn't a real gap.
Yeah. And the Clone Wars went on for several seasons.
Didn't it just wrap up fairly recently?
Yeah, after Disney bought it out, they did a final season, which I haven't seen all of Clone Wars or Rebels.
I haven't started Rebels either. I've heard good things about Rebels though.
I keep hearing good things about both, but it's
Clone
one of
Wars is very good, but I mean, at times, you are watching a kid's show.
Yeah,
and it's very obvious.
The animation seems very, very kiddish.
You can look past it after a while. The voice acting is really good. Like the guy who plays Obi-Wan, there's times where I'm like, God, he sounds like Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Nice.
Even the one for Anakin, there's times where it's like, man, he does a good Hayden Christensen. I'm convinced. And it's not a bad Yoda impersonation either.
Well, bringing up Hayden Christensen, what did you guys think of his role in this series?
I liked it.
Fucking redeemed himself. Not that he needed it.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, he was good.
He had very limited.
Yeah, he was really good in this.
But Jesus, he was good.
I will point out that they didn't really do any de-aging. So when they did the flashback scenes from Attack of the Clones era, it's it's 40-year-old Hayden Christensen.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think they did much de-aging, but if you look at that face, it looks a little fake. I think they tried to do as light de-aging as possible. I think because the backlash they got from Luke, they tried to do light de-aging, and of course now they got backlash from this, and it's like, Jesus Christ, people, make up your minds.
But I thought Hayden always did a good job with the character. He was written as this awkward person who didn't really get out much and socialize. He lived a very different life than most people, so he didn't really know how to interact with people, and his love life was awkward, his friendships were awkward. You know, he had, you know, obviously some mental health issues with, you know, possessiveness and control and anger and stuff like that. So, no, I think for
Prideful and pride.
yeah. So, I think everyone was expecting his character to be just kind of a saint who then somehow turned to the dark side for a specific reason. But it kind of makes a lot more sense for somebody who kind of already has this path set up for him to take that path.
Well, I think especially even here, and you can kind of tell in the prequels, Obi-Wan's not looking at him clearly. Obi-Wan's looking at him like almost like a father figure, and not well. He's
it's like the
to him, but and he's not seeing him clearly.
It's like, you know, like a friend that you want to forgive their faults.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you know the good in them, but you keep trying to forgive them until, you know, it's too late, and then it's like, oh well, I can't forgive you now.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
No, go into my thoughts as Hayden Christensen. He had very limited screen time in this, really, but he did such a good job. He spent a lot of time in a back-to tank, and obviously he didn't do much there. The makeup on him looks great, though.
It looked amazing.
Yeah.
I did have one small gripe, and maybe there's something that I missed, but do you guys recall in two of the movies, Sith and Jedi, you see the mask going on them, and then you see it coming off of them in Jedi, where it kind of goes on as two parts. Like the first piece comes on as kind of like a mask that covers the face, and then the dome thing sits down on top of that. And then in the show, when he came out of the back to tank, they just kind of put the helmet on him as one piece. And I'm like, would that squish his head a little bit?
I haven't thought about it. I just assume different helmet types. I assume he's changed throughout the years.
Different helmet types. Yeah, because in the actual movies...
Well, they just applied a topical ointment to his head, so it also helped the helmet, and you know, so it just kind of slid right in.
You don't see
it's a two-piece
you don't see the very top. What it does is it kind of actually places the helmet on his head, then a hammer comes down and just knocks it down.
Just
donk.
All right.
Very cartoony sound effect with it.
And it's funny, like...
Well, in Revenge of the Sith, it seemed like the faceplate was separate, but that could have just been them first time assembling all the components that made up, you know, his mask and, I guess, life support system.
Yeah, and there
and all that.
There are differences if you look close enough between the movies. There are differences in the suit, so we know that's not the same suit in every movie.
Like so like I think like maybe the back piece that's like the top helmet that would go over. Perhaps like that's like one full separate piece. The other one that goes around the back of the neck, and it also is attached to the breathing apparatus.
You know, something that was never really explored in anything Star Wars is what's the story behind the suit? It's like, is it just something that Palpatine had laying around ready to be used, or I mean, what?
An offhand chance one of his pupils gets burned terribly on a lava planet.
Yeah, I have this very cool looking suit, and it comes
chance.
with
R&D just came up with this, sir.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Execute.
Even better, when he puts it on, he's going to sound like James Earl Jones. Fucking A, I want that suit.
Speaking of.
Oh, so good. I'm so glad he came back.
I was watching it with the wife, and like as soon as like the first time you heard Vader's voice, I just perked up like, what did that? We were just both genuinely shocked. Like, holy crap!
And here's the thing: it's like I've heard other like Vader things and different stuff that's not James Earl Jones, and it's something you can do easy enough with like know synthesis and sound manipulation or whatnot. But the fact that he came back and did this for this show was amazing.
Is just really cool.
Are you guys ready for a crazy fact that I learned since we recorded the last set? James Earl Jones didn't come back. They got permission. They paid him for it, but this was actually done by a group that took together all his voice recordings from movies and like did like a voice synthesizer of him. He didn't actually record it in a soundstage. Yes.
So it's AI.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty damn good for being AI.
It is insanely good.
Fascinating.
Like if you
was there any particular reason he just didn't?
He's well retired. He's
Yeah.
like 91, I believe, right now. He's done. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's one of those
Okay.
things where I'd love it if
Okay,
he came
yeah.
back, but I get it if he doesn't want to because he's done his time. He's done.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, he came back for the Lion King, or did they do the same thing for
No,
that?
the Lion King he came back for. Like,
Okay.
but I mean, he has
Oh.
a credit here, which means he got paid. So
Oh yeah, no
yeah,
doubt. Fucking better.
yeah. But no, I was shocked when
Let's
I found
see,
that.
what
I
was
like, wow, that sounds
during the
good.
duel, one thing that I thought was really, really cool sound design wise was during their duel when Obi-Wan would get the better of Vader and he like cut off half of his like helmet, where you could still kind of half hear like the Vader voice coming through, but with Hayden's actual voice, kind of like you heard him at the same like audible level.
Yeah.
That was I thought that was a very cool touch, and also it's kind of gives more into the lore of Vader's suit too.
Yeah, and
So it's like, is that like something that is just like that's how his voice is being projected because he's speaking normally in the mask.
yeah,
And also, it's good to know his lips didn't get burnt
Yeah.
off as well. You know.
Well, and there's a very important kind of canon tie-in with that scene too, where I don't remember the exact exchange of dialogue, but basically, Vader was telling him, it's like, look, you didn't kill Anakin, I did.
Yeah.
And that ties into Obi-Wan's kind of, point of view that Anakin and Vader are two separate people.
yeah.
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 I also thought that was that was really nice. I did like that touch. I was like, yeah. So technically, Luke, he's like, he didn't lie to Luke when he said that.
No,
He didn't.
That's what Anakin told him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing I thought,
Well, that's what Vader
we
told
talked
him.
so much about the voice and how they did it during that scene, how they mixed it. One thing I thought was really cool is when like the helmet is first broken and you see the split face, which looks great, by the way. Not only like when he first starts talking, it's mostly Hayden, and then the more he talks, the more you get the synthetic voice coming in, which I like that touch. And they do the same thing with the light, where like it's more bluish on his face initially, and then as he talks, it becomes more red until the red just dominates. It's like beautiful touches, beautiful.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we got more on that little box of lightsabers.
Yeah, we see that so briefly. I didn't even catch that until rewatching it, and then like we see this box.
Yeah, 'cause
of lightsabers,
The box
like,
that Obi-Wan buried?
No, there's a box that he finds at that
the cave in episode 5.
I guess holdout. Yeah, where he opens up this chest and it's like 5 lightsabers just sitting there.
Yeah.
I must.
And I mean,
have
I get
missed that. Okay.
I get that they must have been from fallen Jedi that they have collected.
The
and
Inquisitors.
just kept together.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was Inquisitors. These were the good. These were the rebels. The Alliance.
Yeah,
fighters,
these were the people who were smuggling out people. I don't know what the animated
Getting them
series says,
safe.
but it kind of felt like these were like early stages of the rebellion. The
Yeah.
underground.
It did start to feel like the early days of the rebellion.
They aren't out fighting, but they're out helping people.
They're helping people, against the Empire.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of happy they tied in with the Inquisitors because that was a storyline from the First Order video game, or Fallen Order, or whatever that newer game is that came out.
I think you're right. Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order. Yeah, because they were a part of that game, but that game takes place after, after Jedi, like a little after Jedi.
It's beginning to be like Marvel, where you kind of need a flow chart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've started playing
which
that
I'm
game 'cause
actually
I
kind of
just
pleased
got it, but I
about.
don't remember where it takes place.
It's so weird.
I'm kind of.
Well, it used to be episodes 1 through 6.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah,
you need a flow chart.
Excuse me, it's
which is
episodes
okay.
4 through
Cool.
6 and then 1 through 3. Get it right.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
correct viewing
Yes,
order.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, even before that, it was like you just had the original 3, right?
Yeah.
And then all these varying timelines, this multiverse of timelines afterwards, of all these different things that did happen after that, but in other universes, more happened.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they're doing prequel content because the stuff with like prequels, it's like when you're, we were kids when the original movies were out, and you're just kind of like imagining like what they keep talking about all these events, and then you're like, you finally get to see everything that, these characters have been talking about, or whatever your imagination tried to put all these pieces together. So, like Obi-Wan and Rogue One and stuff. I'm glad that they went back and did kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Clone Army was nothing like I expected it to be.
Yeah, same here.
I thought that they would just be like generic foot soldiers, not like stormtrooper prototypes.
Yeah.
There's if you have Disney
Did
Plus,
not see that one coming. Yeah.
There's since they did the Boba Fett show, they did like a Boba Fett origins story where the costume designers came in and he was originally he was supposed to have been like a super stormtrooper, and there was supposed to be several of them, but they then repurposed that as a single bounty hunter, which is interesting because that's what they revisited in the prequels. Is the clones were all based off of sort of Boba Fett.
I didn't even think about that, but that's a good. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
But
so it's like George Lucas reused all of these old ideas, but in a new way, and it sat well with some, and others, weren't a fan of it. Personally, I liked all of the content in the prequels. I mean, as others have pointed out, they're not flawless films. I mean, they have awkward pacing, and the dialogue really, really suffers in moments. But overall, like visually and story and character world building, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I've always liked them.
I'm not a huge fan of the prequels at all, but I think overall the story in them is actually fairly solid. And it is, like, looking back on it, it is actually cool kind of seeing some of these events, because, like, especially going through Obi-Wan and seeing Bail, it's like, oh yeah, so did Bail ever meet Luke? I don't know. And thinking back on prequels, because it's like we actually have that record, so it's kind of cool we have it, even though I'm not a huge fan of them. They're not the worst things in the universe, like lots of people said for a while, but now apparently they're the best things in the universe, and the sequel trilogy are the worst things in the universe.
And going back to Star Wars fandom, and I'm like thinking back before the days of the internet. Like, I think Bob, like, when we first started talking about Star Wars, I think Phantom Menace was out, and it wasn't a universally despised movie when it came out. It was like, oh yeah, it's the new Star Wars movie. Okay, cool. And then once the internet really started to take off with like forums and sites and everything, then you start, and it's like, are people shitting on it because it's really, really bad, or are they shitting on it because it's popular and I get to have a voice on the internet? And ever since then, it's like every new Star Wars content has been like widely shit on by the internet, and fans go as far as like bullying actors or and it's like, what the fuck?
Like,
they're just movies, people. Come on. Nobody raped your childhood. Nobody. It's like, grow the fuck out. Grow the fuck up. And then I keep seeing this with the Obi-Wan show, and I'm like, why? Why?
Well, did you know that Obi-Wan is worse than the holiday special?
Oh, you didn't know that?
Yeah, I thought everybody.
Wait.
God, Obi-Wan really could have used Jefferson's starship in the middle and a Wookiee grandpa masturbating.
No, I would say, like, ever since Attack of the Clones, it's like whatever new Star Wars product was out at the time, like, was like the worst thing to ever exist. And it's just kind of like,
it gets old. It's like, guys,
it gets
Star Wars
old
was
really
never
fast.
perfect. I've already done a little video on it. I have lots of little nitpicks about Obi-Wan, and if you want to say all those nitpicks gathered up together make you dislike the series, cool. I understand. It didn't do that for me. I overall enjoyed this series quite a bit.
Here's a big nitpick. Whenever someone complains about new Star Wars content or like really bad plot points or anything, I'm like, go back and watch the original movie.
Yeah.
Right. They escape from the Death Star. Leia is convinced there's a tracker on the ship. Right. It's important that they don't find the Rebel base, because that's what they have to defeat the Empire. All of their resources are at the Rebel base. Okay. Do they stop and look for the tracker? No. They just fly straight to the rebel base and leave
Nope.
the Empire there.
You're right.
Nope.
I mean, I get drama, I get, movie links, but come on, don't shit on stuff nitpicking on the new content and just pretending like the originals were perfect, because they're far from it.
You're right. Star Wars 1977 sucks too.
Yeah, I think like maybe Empire is the only movie that's well made from like hitting every points of filmmaking.
Yeah.
But
There is, but I've only noticed one thing, and this is just me being nitpicky. So if the Empire was already in Bespin, right, and they took over everything, like every aspect of communications within the entire city, correct?
right.
So how was Lando still able to communicate with the dude with the headphones without the Empire detecting it?
Well,
Like,
it was
unless
just-
it's some sort of secret, like security.
It
That
was
he
a-
has
it
or
was a-
detail.
a secret communication device between him and
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was
actually-
it's a Bluetooth system they had set up. Didn't you know that? It
Yeah.
well established.
But you don't. But you don't think the Empire would have been monitoring that, or even
it
detecting it?
was encoded.
It's very
dude.
sad.
I'm not saying that they're on it, but that is just me being nitpicky.
Yeah, no, and
The character's name is Lobot, and it's
Lobot,
really
that's
sad
right.
that I know that.
yeah,
No,
no,
it's
sad you said that, and I went, "Yep, that's right, I knew that." That's right.
Yeah, and no, I knew it too. As soon as you said like that's what his name.
But
is.
I've always loved that scene where he like, he touches the things on his wrist, and then Lobot's like, "Woo, I'm awake now."
yeah. But
Um,
yeah,
But no, point being, you can nitpick.
Yeah,
any
you
of
can
these
nitpick
things.
literally anything to death. You could probably nitpick Shawshank Redemption to death, but that'd be quite a project.
or
But
why
I'm
didn't
sure you
Chewie just
could.
rip
I'm sure
apart
you
those
could.
little goblins?
Yeah.
Can I just say one more little nitpick about Obi-Wan before we start talking about all the other awesome things that we
Sure,
liked
sure.
about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So when they're escaping the Imperial base, some rebels come in with a snowspeeder, and they all gather up in the snowspeeder.
Yeah.
But in Empire, it's very, very clear that it's a two-person vehicle.
And they're
There's
back
the
to
front
back.
seat
Yeah.
and the back, is the gunner slot.
Yeah.
And they somehow managed to fit the pilot in the front and then 4 people in the back
Three.
seat.
Yeah,
Three.
It would be Obi-Wan, Talon,
Okay.
and Leia.
Yeah.
It would be a tight fit. Like, I would be
And
like,
it's
"Ooh,
also-
Obi-Wan's getting close with Talon," but then Leia's there killing the mood. But,
Again, this is just the nerd in me, but speeders are more like land terrain. They're not really equipped to leave the planet, kind of like
Yeah.
speeder
Yeah.
bikes.
I
So-
I thought about
again,
that,
I was like,
too.
they have
Yeah.
that sort of range.
Well,
okay.
that's the thing. Like,
I mean, still cool.
they go to a
but-
base. To me, it kind of works because it's implying it's super short range, and they're just using it because it's what they have.
Well, Yeah, but I imagine like if anything, they were probably like on a bigger ship, and they had launched out from like the like a loading bay.
Well, there could have been a much larger ship just right outside the planet that was
Yeah.
using a tractor beam. Okay, and then
Sure,
the
yes,
tractor beam
that's-
caught
that's
the
actually
snow
completely
speeder,
possible.
and then lift.
Right.
Yeah,
The fact is, Star Wars has never been perfect, and if you're going to complain about Star Wars getting political, there's this great meme I found where they're asking, "When did Star Wars become all political and
Sorry.
anti-fascist?" And the answer comes back, 1977.
77.
1977.
Well, when they're talking about senators and bureaucracy and governors controlling systems
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah. when the movie came out, it was titled Star Wars. Yeah.
And it was funny, like I have the novel that came out just before the movie, and there's this whole excerpt, yes, that goes over. It's just like a 2-page thing that basically goes over a lot of what the prequels covered. It's like, it was a libertarian system that rotted from the inside, and the Senator Palpatine appointed himself emperor, and all of this stuff. And so, but yeah, like the political aspect was always there.
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's a lot of social commentary for sure, and I thought the political stuff in Star Wars was some of the most interesting. A lot of people bitch about the politics in the prequels, but I thought that was one of the more interesting aspects
Yeah, I
about
agree.
them.
Yeah. No.
Palpatine's kind of like very complex character arc that's done entirely through the political stuff, which I thought was really, really well thought out.
And we do get a brief Ian McDermott cameo in this.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, nice.
And I had to take a double look. I'm like, did he come back for this?
Yeah.
Let me IMDb this. And like, yeah, he did.
No, he acted that. This isn't James Earl Jones. He came back for this the brief little role.
I guess we'll save the other cameo for the tail end, right? Unless you guys want to talk about it.
No,
now.
we can jump around. What cameo were you thinking of?
Oh, we could absolutely
Yeah.
talk about it right now.
All right, what'd you guys think of Qui-Gon?
Oh, shit, yeah.
It made me very happy.
Yes.
Me
because
too.
I had a theory when I first saw it, and I would always talk about this with my buddies. And like we were all like really into Star Wars. So my theory is that, you know, how at the end of Phantom Menace, Yoda had said to Obi-Wan, and I'm going to paraphrase Yoda, but he found a way to communicate beyond death, which obviously that means Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where I connected
Yeah.
it. So that made me think that the whole time that Obi-Wan was on Tatooine in isolation, he was still being trained by Qui-Gon.
Right. And
So in a way, it kind of paid off my own fan theory
Yeah.
at the end, which really made me happy.
that he eventually figured it out. Because
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
assumed that he figured out how to do it, but he could never manifest. So he just passed on the information to
Just by, you know, voice, because we see that even even right after Obi-Wan dies, he says, "Run, Luke, run," and you know,
Right.
gets the hell out of there.
and then like when I saw that in the credits that Liam Neeson did come back to do that bit, I
Yeah.
was like, you know, like it hit right there. I was like, you know, it
The one part that really hit me hard was actually, and I want to say, it was I think it was the 6th episode, maybe the 5th, where Obi-Wan said, "Hey, you have to get Leia, get her to safety," and you know, like Leia's pleading with him, and she's like, "Please, you're my only hope, please, please," and it was like, oh god, that line hits so hard now.
yeah.
That one got me. I was like, "Yep, I'm kind of watering up here."
Well, we've covered
Yeah.
a lot of ground with
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, but there is something we do have to discuss. What do we think of Reva?
Here's the thing, and that's why I'm hoping there's a season 2, because she obviously has gone back and forth with kind of how she wants to align herself.
Yeah.
So and this is where those who have a better memory than I do, I don't think they ever show her killing any Jedi in the show, right? She's just
I thought I read somewhere that she isn't in. Oh, are you talking about in the Obi-Wan show?
and the Obi-Wan
I
show
don't think
did
she really
Reva
kills
personally.
anybody, actually.
Yeah, so she definitely puts the Jedi in danger.
Yeah, she causes
Which-
harm, but
I think-
Which
I
goes
can't recall
against
her
her.
killing.
She
yeah.
attempts to kill the Grand Inquisitor, and that's it.
Right, and it's like if this is
And-
really just some big ploy to get back at Vader, and how does she know that Anakin and Vader are the same person? How does she know that?
Because she saw him come in and kill younglings as Anakin.
Well, right, but how would she know that
He is Vader.
he is Vader? Unless he personally told her.
Yeah.
Is it not supposed to be known that they're the same? I didn't know that wasn't known.
Well,
I just assumed it was
Maybe
known.
the only thing I could. Well,
Owen didn't know. It was never explained to Owen that they were the same person.
maybe.
Was it?
No, they never told Owen. As far as he
well,
knew,
you know-
Anakin was dead.
Maybe it's just how they could feel each other's presence in the Force.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I could connect it with.
That's a good theory. You know, if she had that like intimate moment with him, and she has that same
Well, I
feeling.
mean, I
when he's
imagine
around.
that moment. I imagine there was some connection made at that moment.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe.
like- and she's still living in it, but that moment that she has the connection with him would be one of fear. So
Then it was never really explained. So yeah, she had obviously this plan to have a face-off with Vader and try to resolve, and clearly it didn't resolve.
Yeah.
And then she decided that that wasn't the path she was supposed to be on, and she decided that the act of revenge or killing someone close to Vader, I mean, example, Luke, was not the path that she was supposed to be on. So,
No.
but she also survived. And it's like, well, she knows too much information at this point to be a character that survives. So that's kind of why it makes me think that they might be doing a follow-up season.
No, there's been rumors of the follow-up season. I will go ahead and let you guys know my thoughts. I don't like, for the first half of the season, I didn't know what to think of the character and the performance, and then the second half of the season, I think it kind of worked. That being said, I felt her storyline was super predictable, and I've actually had a chance to watch the series twice now, and one thing that really confuses me is she gets that message from Bail. It's broken up, and the message essentially says, "I will go protect the boy. I will go to Farmer Owen." You know, she gets very fragmented information, and it's article. It's not clear at all that, like, Bail doesn't say anything about being Anakin or Darth Vader's son, because why would he? And so it's not clear to me at all why she goes after Luke, honestly. But that being said, her going after him and deciding not to kill him,
unless it was just another way to try to draw Obi-Wan in.
Yeah.
Like maybe she didn't know,
but
and it was just she knew Obi-Wan would try to protect Luke.
But
so
her main goal was to go after Anakin, not Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was just kind of a means to an end.
And that's
a little,
what I mean.
Yeah,
I was
it's
kind
a
of
little splotchy. The more I think
I was kind of
about it.
confused by the character's development and motives. Now, I did like her as Reva, and I thought she had a good presence, and and I actually enjoyed the character, but her arc and what her motives were a little confusing.
I think her arc was good, but her motives were, very confusing. I really liked. I actually really like her arc because she's a youngling and she essentially decides she's going to take the Darth path and get revenge. And then when it comes the moment to get her revenge, she says, "No, this isn't me." And I really liked that. She's chosen a different path from Anakin.
And I was talking with my sister, and she was really confused by her character too. And she's like, something I didn't understand either is like, she's like, nobody survived the Temple Massacre. And I'm like, I was like, I have to go back and watch Revenge of the Sith, but did they say that everyone in the temple had died, or?
I don't recall them saying that. That being said, they do explain in this series that she puts the blood of a nearby youngling on her and pretends to be dead.
That's right. She played dead. And
okay. It's been a while since I've seen Revenge of the Sith, but I think they I think they might have said as many who could get out have already left. Like they might have said something like that as just a line of dialogue, just to kind of.
There was
there
was the one scene where Obi-Wan and Yoda they were sending out a message to tell Jedi to stay away from the temple.
Yeah.
So we knew that some had survived, but
I
wasn't sure if those that were in the temple, if all of them died.
Yeah, or it might have been at the end where they were talking, and those who managed to get out have scattered across the galaxy. So yeah.
Bobby, do you have any thoughts?
We
on
don't
Reva?
know. Just like with you guys, I was kind of confused by her motivations. It seemed like at one part she wanted to do it just to appease, to get there, to capture Obi-Wan, to be that best pupil for Vader. But I was very confused as to the why. She was trying to right or wrong, and then later it kind of more made sense, that she wanted to do that, but it was just it's a little convoluted. I get what the whole point.
It was
she's going after Obi-Wan to bait Vader, which I 100% get.
Yeah.
And Vader goes for that bait hard. He is already
Anakin's pride is still, he's too prideful.
Right.
Just how he's taken a Star Destroyer to destroy one ship.
He did not
pride,
give a shit.
Annie.
And then
your pride, Annie.
God, and then that fight between him and Reva, dude, that I hate even calling that a fight. That was a slaughter.
Yeah.
Well, he was just
Yes.
toying with her.
He
She's
didn't
like,
even have his
know.
lightsaber
Yeah.
for most of it. He was just like, I see what
Yeah.
you're doing. Yeah.
No.
interesting that, that she could survive that. It's
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that kind of like it seems more like a Disney thing. It's like, when characters died in a duel, they were dead.
Yeah.
And now Disney's been bringing it back. Oh, well, Darth Maul can come back. He got cut in half. Sure. She got struck through the chest with a lightsaber. Well, Reva's still alive.
In their defense, Darth Maul was brought back before them.
Yeah.
Before Disney?
That was brought back during the Clone Wars series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I thought that part of the Clone Wars may have been after
No,
Disney.
I think just the final season was post Disney. I'm not sure though. I think.
Okay.
But I like what they do with her character, but especially towards the end, her motivations get very iffy. But believe it or not, Star Wars isn't flawless.
No, and if they do a season 2, I really hope they revisit her character and try to like map it out some more. But if it's just a season 1 thing, I can't say that she was an excellent character. She felt more like of a plot device than like a than a.
I think she does do a decent kind of reflection of Anakin, kinda, but yeah.
And I love those flashback scenes though, where she's one of the younglings, and he's like, it's a point of view shot where you see Anakin,
they do a great job with those
in his face,
where
his face is just illuminated by his blade, like in the dark scenes, where making him look kind of scary. I thought that those were really good scenes. Yeah.
So I think we've pretty much covered all the bases on Obi-Wan. I think overall, I think it's really good. It's not perfect by any means, but overall, I like what
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys have any final thoughts before we move on to the boys?
No.
All right.
No. Yeah. Obi-Wan is good. I would recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, George, what were your thoughts on the first 4 episodes of season 2? No. No, George. I know
boys.
George has seen it, but yes, he's sitting in. George, ask us any questions, because if you have a question, there's a chance the audience member will have a question as well. So
I'm I've seen the episodes, but I'm sort of a novice when it comes to the series. So I might just comment and just kind of like chime in here and there as you guys are talking about it.
Well, getting into it, I'm really enjoying this rewatch of The Boys.
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of nice that these seasons aren't too long. There's 8 episodes each, so we can do like a whole season in 2 weeks. But it's such a good show. This season begins, we have the boys. Well, we don't even have all the boys. We still don't know where Butcher is.
Where Butcher is.
Yeah, we just have.
We just had they ended season 1 with the reveal that his wife was alive and raising Homelander's kid.
Yeah, product of rape. Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
Homelander is a piece of shit.
Yes. Oh my God, he is the worst.
And that was like the whole story arc with the son was season 2.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of it's season 2.
Okay.
So we're getting into it here.
That's where it really sold me. Like, this character is not a good character.
No, I think episode 1 sold me on that. But
this guy. Yeah, episode 1's like the fuck this guy train got pretty quickly to the station for me. What I
thought was interesting about episode 1 was, God, we're bouncing around a lot now, but the very first episode of this series, like for the most part, all of the superheroes we see up to CD shit, except for Homelander, we see a little bit here and there, but not a lot from him. And then that final shot where he kills the people and the kids on the plane, it's like, okay, there he is. There he is.
It's like, wow, and you're the fucking worst of all of them. Like, you just, I think the only thing we really see from Maeve is just her being very cold, like towards Starlight. And that's really about
That's probably the worst of it with her. We do get quite a bit more of her during these episodes, going into season 2.
And this season as well, yeah.
We see she's...
Like, we get more...
Yeah, we get a bit more of her and her girlfriend. We get Homelander literally outing her on national TV because he's such a piece of shit.
Yeah, such an asshole. But we also have a new addition to the 7 because we start off this season 2 with the funeral for Translucent.
Yeah. Poor Translucent.
And
What
it
a
is
great
just
guy.
so. Yeah. They didn't say how he died though. He did die because a bomb was shoved up his ass.
No, he died heroically from a super terrorist, I'm sure.
Yeah, with a bomb being shoved up his ass.
No, what are you talking about?
Quick question. Elizabeth Shue's character, I know she was more featured in season 1.
Yeah.
Do you think she'll come back?
Well, I mean, her skull was burned out at the end of season 1. But
Yeah, Homelander did kill her at the end of season 1.
was it episode 3
Okay.
that she was in of this season, though?
She cameoed in episode 3,
Yes.
but that was this guy. What was his name? Doppelganger. That's
Yeah,
right.
no.
I wanted to call him Chameleon, but that's Marvel. That's Spider.
See, this is why I need to rewatch
No.
the show.
So Homelander has this secluded cabin out in the middle of nowhere, where he has Doppelganger and essentially has him pretend to be the Elizabeth Shue character when he comes to visit, and just like be like so excited to be there to do like all what he wants essentially, and it's super fucked
Which
up.
pretty much just means nurture him, like just tell him he's right. Like
Give
it's-
him.
Okay,
have him
this sounds
suck
vaguely
milk
familiar
off her
now.
Fingers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's so fucked up.
But we also have a brand new member of the 7 that we're introduced to, who
Yes.
we slowly near the end of this 4-episode hop that we did realize that she might not be who she says she is.
Well, when it first starts out, she's very like just speaking her
Likeable.
mind. Yeah, she's kind of likable.
Likeable.
Like I never really liked her, but like you could get how she could be likable. You could get how people could warm to her because she's just speaking her mind and just saying what's there, and it's like okay.
Yeah, a few of the times when she was making her big grandstanding speeches and everything, there's a few times I go like, there's something about that sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't place it. I like that was the first watch. Now that I'm like revisiting it, going like, yeah. Totally what.
Yeah, I see it now.
First suspicion was I totally see it now.
Yeah. Well, it all comes. You really start to see her in season 3, where she's chasing down Kimiko and her brother, who was under the same group that Kimiko was, but he gained telekinetic powers.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's chasing them down, and one of the first things she does in chasing them down is essentially just kill this family that's just freaking out that they're there. Like, that's all they're doing. They're not in the way. She could easily just ignore him, but she's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna kill him, and just kills him really quickly.
And kills another guy who's just walking down the hallway.
No, yeah, just
throws
people
him out of a
walking
window.
around. Yeah, there's this guy that gets exploded, a guy gets thrown out. It's like just these people living their lives, and she's just killing them, just not giving a shit.
And when she catches up to Kamiko's brother and kills him, she also ends it with a racial slur too.
Yeah.
So right then it's like, oh, that's just lovely.
Well,
I feel there's a lot of political commentary in the show
There
too.
very much is.
Stuff that kind of centers around like more recent events and things too.
Yeah. They definitely were hitting on a lot, but with how this one ended with how season 1 ended and how the universe in this world is right now, they're still like Vought is on all there's in the 7 are still just that prime shining example of awesomeness and all that is righteous and good and all that, while meanwhile Butcher and the boys are painted as like just terrorists. Another way to say it, that's how they're painted. They're even overly dramatized in daytime dramas, as we get to see some actor hamming it up doing a really, really bad Carl Urban impression.
It's
doing
kind
Billy
of funny
Butcher,
watching it though.
But it is, you say it again and I'll bullocks you. And it's like, that's not how
That's not what he would say, but okay. That's not what I see what you're going for.
That's not what bollocks means. But okay.
But God.
We also get to see the Deep have much of a deep character change within himself.
Kinda. Yeah,
Spiritual.
he's
spiritually
embracing
speaking,
himself
that
more,
is.
which is, I guess, nice, but he's still kind of a gross piece of shit.
Yeah, he's still a piece of shit.
It's tough for me to have any sympathy for him after what he did to Starlight.
He's just
fuck him.
he's just now like a religious fanatic
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah, no, he's
which I think is just maybe a little worse.
no, his Church of the Collective, which just has to be a commentary on Scientology.
It's so is Scientology.
Yeah.
He sits at the head table.
Yes, he does, and they're picking out a wife for him.
Yeah, right. Then I was like, this is Scientology.
I love how
this is fucking hilarious.
I love how they're doing the interviews, and he's like, "Oh, I want this one. I want this one," and they're like, "Well, no, actually, we chose this one for you." And he's like, "Well, don't I get a choice?" And they're like, "Yes, you do," and you chose this one, and you. It's like, yeah, but yeah.
We also see like a bit of moving parts now with not Stormfront, but Starlight and
yes,
Huey.
That's where
because at the end of season 1, he had just pretty much came clean with her, or she just kind of found out in a roundabout way about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they still have like a lot of feelings for each other.
Oh, yeah.
So
they still talk
they're
to each other.
working.
Yeah.
They're still working through it.
And we have that scene where they sneak together on the subway and they talk. Nothing super intimate, but we do see they start out the conversation with their legs against each other, and it's kind of like, aww. But yeah, Starlight has pretty much chosen her side, because one of the early things she does in this first 4 episodes is she gets some Compound V and leaks it to the press. So that was something they were still keeping under wraps, that the superheroes they were still saying they're born. After that, it's like, no, they are made.
They're made.
Yeah, Vought made these people. And unfortunately, the public response isn't going quite as quickly as they would like, which, yeah, that's how that always goes, isn't it?
Yeah, because you have Stormfront organizing rallies and protests against Vought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Stormfront's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
well,
Liberty or whatever she wants to call herself.
Yeah, well, that's in the 4th episode. We don't get her full backstory yet. I was expecting her full backstory in this first 4, but we don't get to it. All we get to is that she was a superhero named Liberty who just killed a black guy. No reason.
For no
reason at all. Just pulled him over and killed him. And it's bad. Of course, she said some racial shit to him, too, because she's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably her most memorable line is, keep your eyes open. I like to see the light go out. Such a piece of shit.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some guy she's never even met before. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
She definitely is evil.
Yeah, she is. Ugh.
But I think if anything now within the story is like Kimiko is definitely with the boys now.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, yeah.
And
yeah, because how it ended, or episode 4 ended, was she was just staring at her, and it's like, oh, she is gonna fuck.
Yeah.
I can't wait for their fight later.
Yeah, it's coming up. We're not there yet, but yes, there's definitely gonna be some
not there yet.
muffins coming to her.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is kind of a power dynamic with the boys going on, kind of, because while Billy is gone, Huey kind of takes the lead a bit, trying to get them organized and doing stuff. And then, of course, when Billy comes back, he's like, I'm in charge. And there's lots of mixed feelings towards that, because it's kind of clear it's not really Huey's forte to take the lead, but Billy is Billy.
Yeah. He'll be a dick about it if he has to.
Yes. And yeah, I've said it last time, and I'll say it this time. Billy is one of those characters who's he's not like, I wouldn't call him likable. Like, I don't know if I'd like to hang out with him because I think I'd find him insufferable to actually hang out with him. And if my life would depend on him, I would be just like, no, fuck this guy. But like watching him in Carl Urban's performance, like watching is fantastic. He's great.
I compare it to like watching him enjoy himself and really having fun with the role, you know?
Yeah.
Like exploring
Absolutely.
it. I kind of compare it to how much fun you see Jack Nicholson being the Joker in that 89 Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
Like how much fun he was having with it. Like he has that same amount of joy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Carl's doing a lot more with it than Jack did.
Yeah. Well, he gets a lot
he
more
has
time
a lot
with
more
it.
room. Yeah, he has a lot more room to let it breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And
once again, I don't know if I can praise the actors enough talking about this series because they're all great. If I were talking like favorite characters, I don't know. Maeve's really coming up in season 2. I still really like Starlight. Mother's Milk has quite a few shining moments this season.
he really does.
I love when the Deep goes after the boys and Huey just kind of has a meltdown in that whale. He's just not going anywhere. Billy can't get him to move.
Mother's Milk's like, all right.
Billy's telling Mother's Milk and Frenchie, we're just going to leave him. And Mother's Milk just goes back and sits down and says, you're going to sit here, I'm going to sit here. And Huey's like, oh, fuck you, and gets up and goes. And it's like, yep.
He's just like, asshole. And he's like, yep.
Yep. I'm not leaving unless you're leaving. Yep. It's like, yeah, that's how you do it. Then.
Well, I mean, at all moments for Huey to have a breaking point, I think that was
well, you can't
the most appropriate time to have one.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the middle of a fucking whale. What do
they drove
do?
a speedboat through a whale.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? That still looked cooler than anything I've seen in Aquaman.
Probably. I don't think Aquaman would go there, but
well,
let's also hope
Aquaman.
Let's also hope Aquaman doesn't sexually assault any of the female heroes too.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen either, because that's not cool.
I do enjoy how like in the Aquaman they always joke that he fucks fish, but here, the Deep pretty much fucks fish.
He does fuck fish.
Yeah, it was a very obvious scene.
Yeah,
nothing explicit, nothing nothing hidden. It was
just there.
Nothing subtle about it.
The bit where he's talking to a dolphin. Not now. Okay, later. It's like, Jesus, dude.
Dude.
No, I can comment on that one because it's still very fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Emphasis on fresh.
Very, very fresh.
And I did find it was funny as they were escaping the house post demolition. He has the bag of water with the squid just.
Yeah.
Am I too far?
I think so, but we will get there eventually. Okay. But yeah, it's.
We will get there.
Oh my god. Yeah, just God, I love this series. Once again, I feel like we have to mention Homelander. The dude's just such a piece of shit, and Anthony Starr just nails it.
Yeah, and then these four, he's kind of having like almost an identity crisis, if it were.
Because it's quickly becoming apparent that like Stormfront's not only like the popular face, but she also might be the bigger piece of shit. And he's like, "What?"
And if they only realized with their powers combined, they could be the ultimate mega shit.
Yes, they could. We're not there yet, though.
No, not quite.
Yeah.
I think we have another episode to go.
No, we gotta be getting close. I mean, we're halfway through. We gotta be getting close to the ultimate mega shit of their powers combined.
Yeah, the mega shit powers.
Oh God. But yes, God, I'm loving this rewatch. Is there anything big we need to bring up?
Let's see.
Yes.
A-Train and Starlight. Oh, I was going to say A-Train and Starlight kind of found some sort of common ground with each other where, they don't like each other. They hate each other. But they're not selling each other out.
Yeah. No, they both have shit they're hiding. So
yeah.
And then Raynor, we don't really see much of them. And I will say rewatching this, I think it's a cool edit because Raynor, we see the boys talk to Raynor, they give her information, and then her head explodes.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the woman talking on TV, and spoiler, if you haven't seen season 2 of The Boys, which I have before, it cuts to the woman who blew up her head. It's like that's nice. They told you right there, but of course you're not thinking. You're not.
Well, no. Yeah. I mean, that's only revealed to be that later.
Yeah, it's like it's the final episode where that's revealed. But it's like nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they gave it away immediately.
Yeah, they gave it away immediately, but of course your brain's just thinking, oh, this is a different unrelated scene. But nope, they're just giving it away.
It's just kind of, first time I watched it, I was like, okay, I'm still processing that.
Yeah.
What was she saying?
Yeah.
Who was that?
No,
what was going on?
No, it's one of those scenes where like Raynor's about ready to talk about some shit, and you're like, oh, cool. You know, usually I'm annoyed by exposition, but like, there's times where exposition dumps are welcome. I was like, oh, a welcome exposition dump. No, her head's blown up. No.
Boom. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. But yes, I am excited to see the reveal of Stormfront, just knowing what it is. I'm excited to see the end of this season, because the end of this season, I remember feeling like
really great about it.
Yeah, just like, oh, that feels so good. What happens? Just nice.
It's like the season is kind of like the reverse of The Empire Strikes Back, but it's only about the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so good. I'm more excited to talk about the next set because there's lots of stuff that I know they're leading up to, and it's like I want to get to it.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to get into it.
Are we ready for Miss Marvel?
Yes.
Any questions, George, before we jump into Miss Marvel?
Nope. Go for it.
Okay.
Miss Marvel. God damn, this is a tonal shift. I enjoyed this though.
Yeah.
Oh
it really
my
is
God.
A tonal shift.
Yeah.
So from deep, dark, and depraved, we're going to very lighthearted and family-oriented fun.
Yes.
And I mean that in all sincerity and
this
genuine honesty.
This is especially the first episode is just like genuinely just a nice episode. Like
it is.
It's like it's essentially like a teenage show done well with a superhero angle, and it's very nice.
Does this have tie-ins to any other Marvel content, or is it like completely original?
It exists within the same universe. Like all the events that have happened in the MCU have happened along with these characters. They've experienced them, but they've experienced them like living as a part of their own world.
The series actually opens with Kamala doing like this artistic like paper animation recreation of the end of Endgame. Favoring her favorite superhero, Captain Marvel, of course. And there's lots of like little artistic things that I think it's supposed to just be like representations of her artwork scattered throughout the episode, like around characters and stuff like that. It's really nice. I like it. Like there's that scene where they're walking across and you just see artwork on building as they're coming up with costume design ideas.
Yeah,
I do
like what they're talking about is being drawn out. On the buildings. Yeah, that I thought that was a really cool touch.
Yeah, and I really like the idea. Like, just make her a cosplayer, and that way, when she comes up with a costume later, it's like, yeah, of course she could come up with a costume. She's a cosplayer.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is just a really fun show. She's a Pakistani American. Her parents are super religious, but she's not, as I recall from the comic book. That's about the same. I know there's definitely variations with the comic book and her power set, because in the comic book, her power set was she's just kind of like Mr. Fantastic. She's just stretchy.
Yeah.
And then
but like she can grow.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
Like yeah.
I feel like she was.
Well, I guess Reed could too.
Well, yeah. She was kind of made to be like almost like a new Mr. Fantastic. Obviously not the same character, but the same power set. Because there was this period in Marvel Comics where they were really focusing away from X-Men and Fantastic Four because they didn't have the movie rights to them at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it also ties back to that as well, because in the comic book she was an Inhuman, Inhumans didn't really take off, especially with that shitty TV show they did. But
I don't remember that one.
there's a reason.
Yeah.
I've not seen much of it, but it was bad. But Inhumans were introduced in the comic books to be kind of like a replacement for the X-Men. Essentially, in the Marvel Universe, this Terrigen mist was released onto the planet, and some people were affected by it and became Inhumans. And the comic book Miss Marvel is one of those. And here she has bangles, but it appears as if she's relayed to someone from an alternate dimension, and the bangles had a unique effect on her and gave her powers, which sometimes look kind of like the stretchy powers, but lots of times it's like making like telekinetic platforms and things
Like force
that.
fields. Yeah.
Almost kind of a mix between
Which is
Invisible
still
Woman
cool,
and Mr.
yeah.
Fantastic.
Which is still very cool.
Yeah. No, I actually thought Invisible Woman, like, when you hear the name Invisible Woman, it's like, well, that's lame. But when you hear she can also do force fields, it's like, oh. So she might be the most powerful one, not the weakest. She might be... But yeah, the force field thing was cool. And it seems like she might be kind of a mix here. Not quite the same, but I'm interested to see what they're doing with it. It's weird that they changed the power set and the origin, but like everything else about the character seems pretty much intact. And yeah, this is just a fun show. We get to the villains at the end of season 2, but we don't know they're the season 2, episode 2.
Episode 2.
Yeah, but we don't know they're the villains.
We don't quite get that reveal yet.
Yeah. We get introduced.
That reveal
to them.
happens in the 3rd episode, yeah.
It's introduced because there's this boy she likes, and it turns out that maybe part of the reason he's like talking to her is because he's part of the Jinn, who's they think she can bring them back to their dimension.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think he's probably kind of into her too, because like when she says, "Hey, I need to think about it," he's like, "Okay, cool, you take your time." And then when his mom finds out, she's like, "No, fuck that bitch, we're going back." It's like, oh shit, and that's essentially when it's revealed. Yeah, these are villains. These are.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, I was like, "There is no time." I was like, "Oh, she's the bad guy."
Yeah. Okay. Now we got some villains. Well, I wasn't sure. It's like. At first, I thought the main villains were going to be Damage Control, which definitely feel like they're going to be trouble. But yeah, now it's like no, it's definitely going to be Jin.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be them. And after how episode 3 ended with Damage Control coming in and literally doing just that, yeah, I'm curious to see where that will go.
Yeah,
and like how they'll handle with Miss Kamala Khan.
Yeah. But yeah, so I do think one of the things I like about this series is seeing her learn her powers, because she's not good at it, especially like at the beginning.
No,
man,
she is not.
Like when
she is bad.
Yeah, when like there's this whole scene where she saves this kid, and she's definitely more interested in putting on a good show than actually saving him, and almost fucking kills him in the process.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ, be careful. But she's putting on like a hero pose, and then she's like, oh, fuck. And then she's like...
Well, another thing I really enjoy about it is the fact of like the casting and how they're representing that culture.
Oh, yes.
And how well they're doing it. Like, honestly, that wedding seemed like a fun time.
Yeah.
That food looked so good.
Yes. Well, that was one of the things that the comic book was kind of praised for. And it's like when you read the comic book, it's been a long time since I've read it. But when you read it, it does a good job. It's kind of cool, yeah. I mean, everybody yells, oh my God, why are they doing this? It's because it's cool to learn about other things. It's cool to learn about...
Yeah, it's cool to learn about other things.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. It's interesting. Like, you know, people are like that, and they're accepting of other people's cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have other cultures, because your own culture gets boring after a while. Your own
yeah, and it gives you some perspective on your own.
Yes.
Like.
Yes. But yeah, I enjoyed this quite a bit. Trying to think. I guess Obi-Wan. Like, I'm definitely enjoying Boys more, but like, this is good. I want to see where it goes.
This is.
But yeah, I like. It definitely seems like what they're gonna set up to do is with the Captain Marvel sequel. It will be definitely Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel in that. And
Yeah,
then
I'm
we'll
kind
have
of
to see who
curious
else.
if Brie Larson is gonna make an appearance.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I mean, she better just to troll these people. Just troll me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like at the end.
Oh,
Like
at the end
the
of this
series.
season?
After Kamala's got.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Like at the end credit scene of this
Mhm.
series.
That could be cool. Yeah, we'll have to see. Like,
Because there's that friend of Carol's, like her daughter,
Mhm.
who's all grown up and is an adult now, who we saw in WandaVision,
yeah,
who also got some like superhuman powers
Yeah.
from entering that shell
yeah,
that Wanda
the
created.
Wanda's area. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
assume she'll be in the Marvels as well, the Captain Marvel sequel. I'm not.
Oh, I think she is. I think she's slated to be in it. The
Mhm.
last time I checked. And also, I believe I read that this young lady is also who's playing Kamala Khan will also be in there.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know if they're going to. I think what they're doing is, well, to me, what I have a feeling they're doing with some of these stories is they're setting up Young Avengers.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, all the
Like,
characters
they're
they've set up.
setting up Young Avengers.
We've got Miss Marvel now. We got America
Mhm.
Chavez in the last Doctor Strange movie. We've gotten more than that, haven't we?
we
we got
Kate.
Echo
We have
and
Kate
Hawkeye.
Bishop. We have Kate.
Yeah, and
we have Kate Bishop.
Bishop.
Hawkeye. Yeah.
So like what? So the only ones off the top of my head I'm missing are Squirrel Girl
Morales.
and Miles. That's it.
Yeah.
We got 4
Miles
members of the Young
Morales.
Avengers already.
And I mean, we know there is a Miles Morales in this MCU. In
Yes.
the first Spider-Man, Danny Glover, he played like the uncle.
Well, I'm gonna
He's like,
correct
I got
it
him-
was
I got-
Donald Glover, not Danny.
It was Donald. That's right. Thank you, Donald Glover. Thank you.
Yes, but
Yeah. Well, he's yeah. Danny is definitely way too old for that shit.
hey,
yes.
I love Danny Glover, but no, I don't think he would be a good
So do I.
casting for Uncle Aaron.
No, but yeah, he played Uncle Aaron, and he even said, "I have a nephew, Miles,
Mhm.
and I don't want these on the streets anywhere near him."
hmm
Like, so
Because
it's established.
I don't recall a name
through
drop
lot
for
of time.
Miles, but he definitely says something about a nephew for sure. I don't.
He did say his nephew.
Yes.
He has a nephew. Yeah. I can't remember if he said name if he name
might
dropped
have.
or not.
I don't recall.
He might.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely want to see what they do with Young Avengers. Will that be Avengers 5?
Well,
Not impossible.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I know that they're already setting up for, or they're gear. I think they've casted Ironheart too. I
Yeah.
just don't think they've made any announcements on it yet.
No,
they've
that's
just cast
gonna be a Disney
everything's-
Plus series.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's supposed to be about Morgan Stark and. Or no.
no, it's gonna be
Is that not
Riri
about Morgan
Williams.
Stark?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Riri Williams, who I believe, I haven't read it, to my understanding, is just a person who was a huge fan of Tony Stark and just kind of,
Super smart too.
yeah, and super smart too, and just kind of reverse engineered his technology.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that turns out, but yeah, yes, it's weird. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I have lots of ideas where Marvel's going, but a lot of the individual pieces they set up the past couple of years, I find it very interesting. I wonder what their plan is with all this. But we don't know yet. But yes.
Well, I feel like a lot of it. Well, each of them had their own definite tonal feel to them.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Like Loki definitely was like very, unpredictable.
Yeah. Kind of quirky
Much like-
and funky.
Yeah. Winter Soldier and Falcon. That one seemed like another Cap movie.
Yeah, it was much more political.
And I really I enjoyed that one.
Oh.
Let's see. After that, we had WandaVision to start off
Yeah.
with. That was weird and bizarre,
Yeah.
and I loved every
It
bit
starts
of it.
out quirky and weird, and then it ends very like bittersweet and just poignant.
Mm-hmm.
And then Moon
And then
Knight.
let's see, we had Hawkeye recent.
Yeah.
Well, first Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye was before Moon Knight. Definitely.
Yeah, and Moon Knight was great though.
Yeah, Hawkeye was
Moon
good
Knight
though.
was-
Hawkeye Hawkeye was more just kind of setting up Kate Bishop and giving Clint more to do, because let's face it, Clint has kind of gotten ripped off in the movie.
Yeah.
I love the meme where Thor screaming, "I got 4 movies," and then Captain America and Iron Man are going, "You got 4 movies? We only got 3." And then Black Widow and Hulk are going, "You guys got 3 movies? We only got 1." And then Hawkeye's going, "You guys are getting movies? You
Yeah, you guys are getting movies.
What?" But yeah, I do.
I've seen a new addition to that one where it's Thor is in there, and it's like, and they go like, "Hey guys," and it's like, and then it shows Cap and Iron Man. Like, wait, what is this 4 movie crap?
Yeah. Wait, we can get 4 movies? Yeah, you just have to re-sign. Oh wait.
Yeah. I'm sure they would have given Cap another movie.
No, I'm sure. Well, I mean, we are getting another Cap movie, just now with Chris Evans. I do think it's funny.
How are they going to do that?
Huh? Have you not seen Falcon
well,
and
with,
Winter Soldier?
He gave the shield to Falcon.
Yeah.
And Falcon has the Captain America suit, so Falcon is Captain America.
Yeah, that's what Falcon and Winter Soldier was all about. Him.
Yeah, I did.
Him accepting the shield.
Yeah, him.
And that was the series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not watch the series.
Very political, but very good. Like, it delved with a lot of social issues, like mostly regarding race and race relations and society's interpretation of them.
When did comic books get all political, man?
Fucking right.
Same thing with Star Wars. When did all this get political?
When did Star Trek?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah. Well, I saw a funny meme. I'm happy you brought up Star Trek, Bob, because it said, like, Star Trek has been a part of American culture and society for about 54 years now, right? Give or take, right? The Confederacy was a part of our culture and society for 4.
Yeah, I like that.
Star Trek is more.
Therefore, we need more Star Trek.
Yeah.
We need more Star Trek flags than Confederate flags. That's for damn sure. At least 10 times more.
Yeah, we need
some statues for sure.
No more of Kirk. Maybe one of just his girdle.
Yeah.
That would be like something that's strong, perseverance.
Let's get some Picard and Cisco statues up there. I think there's a Janeway statue somewhere. More Janeways. More Janeways. Yeah.
No, what I think we need is just a giant art installation of the Tribbles.
Nice.
We just need to go back to a time where shows were never political, like the Twilight Zone.
We have to go to a time where shows never reflect the time in which they were made.
Like the Twilight Zone.
Yes, sure. People get ridiculous. I just want to show.
All right, guys, come on. This isn't Sophie's Choice, guys. Come on.
I just want to show that's completely apolitical and doesn't reflect the time in which it's made.
Yeah.
Good luck.
But we'll be back next week with the Boys in the second half. That also doesn't speak of the time.
No, that's completely an apolitical series too. They don't have anything to say about capitalism or anything. No race relation stuff in that one.
Good. It's just
not at all.
Good family fun and value entertainment.
You can find it
if you're not looking for. If you're looking for nothing political, watch the Boys.
Yes, you can find it on LexCorp streaming. I mean Amazon.
Yes, definitely.
It is on.
Which is hosted by the Terrell Corporation.
Yes. It's so good family entertainment. Well, anything to add for Miss Marvel? I think
no. I'm really excited to see where they're going with it. I'm really enjoying it. Like genuinely, just enjoying the series.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's easier to talk about Obi-Wan because it's like we're doing the recap now. We can just talk about whatever.
Yeah.
And then like with the Boys and Miss Marvel, it's like we're just halfway through, and it's like, oh, I want to see where it goes. I want to see where.
Like I kind of want to know where they're going. Yeah. Like when I watched episode 3 today, I was like, oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Really? It's ending there?
Yes. And of course, we gotta have some Bon Jovi in there. So, I'm sorry, Brown Jovi.
The band. Yeah,
Brown Jovi.
Yeah. There was like it's a New Jersey based, so there's like a lot of Jersey related jokes, and there was a few about like Bon Jovi and like Bruce Springsteen earlier.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. But like there's this cover
Okay.
band that's like mostly Pakistani guys and they call themselves Brown Jovi.
I was expecting
They
him
also
to be
play
like,
weddings,
yeah, they're like, we call it,
weddings, bar mitzvahs, and quinceañeras.
we are Brown Jovi, and we cover exclusively Def Leppard. We have issues with the name. We have issues with the name.
Hi, we're Brown Jovi, but we solely cover Oingo Boingo
Yeah.
exclusively.
Yeah.
Lots of people get confused by that one.
Yes.
They're not sure why. My name is actually John Brown Jovi.
Yes. But like our guitarist, he plays in another band called Elfman's Fever Fires, which only plays 80s Joel.
Yes.
uh,
Maybe Brown Jovi is if you merged the bands Bon Jovi and Green Jelly and made
Oh man.
mix it in a pot, and then you get Brown.
You get Brown Jovi, yeah.
Brown Jovi.
It's Bon Jovi's cover of the Brown album. Primus is like, what the fuck?
So if you took the White Album and the Black Album and you mixed them together, would you also get a Brown Album?
Maybe. I don't know. You know, let's just we're
I
just
don't
gonna
know
throw
these
Brown album
things.
in there for good
You
measure.
decide.
Just
Comment
just
below.
an
You
album
decide
where the
what makes a
Beatles,
Brown album.
Primus and Metallica all come together.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, no. Less is too good for Metallica.
Yeah.
You know, Lars said it himself.
Yeah, and Les could
Which
honestly, Les could
honestly,
do better. Les could,
Well, yeah, Les did do better. The man has played with Alex Lifeson.
yeah. Well, what didn't Oysterhead do a live show recently?
Yeah, they did get back
Yeah,
together,
I
and
wonder if
they
they'll
were
do
doing a
another
few of
album.
them.
That'd be
Well,
cool.
they were slated. Well, God, yes. Oh my God, yes. I'd love for them to do
Yeah.
another album. But I know that they were slated to do a tour in 2020, and
Well,
obviously they didn't. So they
2020
did all the
tours.
postponed dates. Well, I mean, there are a few up on onlinearchive.org that has a few of the 2020 Primus shows, as well as all the ones that they have played since then. I know that there was like some really cool stuff that happened during some of those 2020 shows.
Okay. George, do you know who Oysterhead is? Okay, so
No.
Oysterhead is
No
actually
idea.
a super group. They have one album that's really cool. It's actually a really good album. But it's Les Claypool, Stuart Copeland of the Police, and
Trey Anastasio with
Fish.
Fish.
Yes. And it's actually
Oh,
they have one
interesting.
album.
That's-
And it's actually a really
It's
good album.
really
yeah.
cool. Yeah,
That's an interesting
it's a
collection.
really
the,
interesting
album-
collective,
different.
but works well. It works.
yeah. The album is called The Grand Pecking Order.
Yes.
Have
Yeah.
to check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds
It's
interesting.
definitely one of the way more unique like Claypool projects. Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of think like with Frog Brigade and even with like Bucket of Burning Brains and like what's the other one that he Sausage.
Yeah.
All of that kind of has a tendency to almost kind of bleed into sounding like Primus. Frog
Yeah.
Brigade has like a little bit more instruments like a xylophone and horns. So it kind of makes it obvious that you're not listening to them, but and it's not a bad thing against it. It's like Les has a distinct tone and sound.
Huh.
So it's very recognizable, but with Oysterhead, it sounds like just a different band.
Yeah, it like Les is very much
Like-
there.
like-
He's very prominent because it's Les, but there's other guys there too, and they get their moments too. It feels more like a collective and
Like,
less
the-
like just a
they're-
Claypool
yeah.
project.
Yeah, there's like a lot of elements of Trey's like playing that are in there. A lot of other ones that are.
Oh, battery's out.
Oops,
We're
I think
almost out
I think my
anyway.
battery died. Yeah.
It almost made it through. But yes,
almost did.
I don't think there's much less to add. You
Yeah.
don't want to add anything?
Nope.
All right. Well, I think everybody have a good one. Bobby, we're not going to leave until we see
Yep.
you wave goodbye.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Oh, my. Later.
Talk to you guys later.
I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job, but I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.